Today we're going to review the use of bubble boxes offered to you by hydro-culture.com. The only place you can get them is online. We have 2 boxes that have bottoms in them and 4 boxes that have screens in them. These are meant to replace bubble bags. Bubble bags have a really hard time draining in their finer screens. Bubble boxes have solved that problem. We'll explain later. You're also going to need a pitcher and a squirt bottle in case you don't have a wand in your sink. A wand in your kitchen sink works better than the squirt bottle. The other things that you're going to need is a cookie lifter, is what we have here from Walmart. We bought that at Walmart. That works really well. And 3 bottles of isopropyl alcohol 91%. The funnel is for pouring it from the box after cleanup back into the bottles. The other part of the kit that comes with the kit is the hash press. You'll also need to you'll need a couple of razor blades, and a credit card works really well. The other thing that you will need is some paper towels for the drying. And you'll need a drill with a paint mixer, a plastic or Teflon paint mixer. I also use a plastic spoon to help in the mixing process. The 2 boxes that are supplied with the bottoms in them that do not have the screens, you place them in either side of the sink. Bubble boxes come with 4 screens. A 45 micron, a 70 micron, a 120 micron, and a 185 micron. The screens are in the bottom of the boxes. We begin with the 45 micron, the smallest of the group in the bottom, the 70, and the 120. Then the work box is the 185. All of the bubble boxes, the difference between the bubble boxes and bubble bags is that the bottom of the box is rigid. That allows you to, in the process, force the water backwards through the screen, resuspending the hash off the screen. The problem with bubble bags is when you get down to the smaller screens, you can't clear the screen, so the water doesn't drain from them. With the bubble boxes, we've eliminated that problem. I use 2 bags of ice for a mixture. Then we fill the ice and water mixture up to just right about the bubble line. You can see the outline of the bubble box emblem on the outside. That's where you want to fill your water and your ice to. So I've filled it up to just below the line with water and ice. You want to let that sit for about 5 minutes to get it good and cold. You want to be sure and use green frozen trimmings. Good trimmings from around the buds. You can use shade leaf, it's just a lot of work you don't get as much yield out of it, but it needs to be green, not dried. Today we're going to use, there's about 613 grams here, less the bag's 580. I usually run around 800 grams, but I'm running short, so we got to deal with what we have here. Take your product and dump it into the ice and the water mixture. Then you want to break it all up and get it suspending in the water. Stop. Now we agitate the mixture of ice, water, and product, using the drill and the spoon to get it to come up. A lot of people say to agitate this for 10-15 minutes. I do not find that to be good. All you need is 2 to 3 minutes of agitation at the most. People over agitate it and their hash comes out green. It's not as good. If you agitate it just a couple of minutes, let it set, and then do the extraction, you'll have much better hash. One of the other things about the bubble box over the bubble bags is that you suspend your product in the water. Bubble bags tend to kind of clump it up, and it makes it very hard to agitate it and suspend it in the water. The object is to get it agitated and suspended in the water so that the trichomes can fall off and drop to the bottom and through the screens.
Go.
One of the other things that you don't want to do is put too much product in your bubble bag, because you do want it to suspend in the water. You don't want it to clump and not be able to float freely and break away its trichomes and let them drop. Don't overload your box. You won't get any more out of it, and it just clumps it up. Once you've agitated them and let it sit for a minute or two, and then just hand stir it a couple times, you pull the top 185 box off, let it drain a little, and set it over into the other sink. Then you pull the 120 mic out. It drains rather rapidly. This one has some hash in it, but it's not very good quality of hash. So this one here we just set aside, and we will clean it on the second run of this. Just set it over to the side. Now we're into the ones that actually have the hash, the 70 and the 45. You pull it up and they don't drain. They're getting heavy. The reason is because the screen is full and plugged of hash. The way that you free it is push it backwards, and boom, it clouds up and it's drained. Stop. And you can use a squirt bottle to rinse the hash to the center. It's not as good as having a wand. It's kind of a pain in the ass, and I didn't have enough water. When you're using a wand, you want to make sure that you don't have too much water, because you're going to fill the tubs up with a lot of water. So adjust your flow to about like that. Then you can rinse to the center the hash. Once it's rinsed to the center, we'll spatula it out. Then you want to set up, I triple fold paper towels. I set up the hash press and have my tools ready. Then we put our spatula in, tilt the bucket, and scoop the hash up off of the screen. Set the screen out of the way and prepare it place it onto the press. Okay, you can stop. Then once you have it on the press, you can stack it a little bit if you want, but that's a pretty good layer right there. Flip it over, put the paper over, and press. Lightly, not too heavy, trying to get the water out of it, but if you push too hard, it sticks to the screen. You don't want that. Some of it stuck to the side of the screen.
I can't see your hands, they're in the way there.
Some of it stuck to the side of the screen. You just scrape it with your razor blade. Pile it up. Then you're going to want to do that to this side to separate it and get it off. Are you recording? Mm-hmm. I like to put my hash on a piece of wood. It's really sticky, it's very hard to handle. Then from here, I will put it into the refrigerator. That's the best way to do it, to get it good and cold. Then we pull the 45 micron up and it's plugged solid. So you do the same movement, you just push backwards, and as you can see, a cloud comes up in the water. Because what it's doing is it's resuspending the hash, allowing the screen to drain. I like to let it sit for a minute and then stir it, scraping it off of the screen on the bottom, allowing it to settle again. So the whole process should only take 3 to 5 minutes total. Running these 2 times through, you should be able to do them in 20 to 25 minutes, doing 2 runs through your bubble box once you figure it out and get it all lined out. It's so much quicker. I've spent 25 minutes with my smaller bags trying to get them to drain with my bubble bags. That's the whole difference in this, is that you're able to clear the screen.
There we go again. Okay, good.
You're going to find that the first time that you agitate it and do it, it's really sticky. The second time, after agitating it, I'm done agitating now. It's not so sticky at all. You can tell that the THC and the crystals have fallen through and they're gone. It's like 2 different things. From the very beginning when you break your stuff up to now, not sticky at all. Then on the second rinse through, we go ahead and rinse it into the working boxes using the wand. Gets rid of, rinses some of the excess crystals into the working boxes. Sometimes this makes too much water in the working boxes. That's what the pitcher's for. You can just dip it off of the top of the working boxes to take the water out, make it more manageable. Then what's left is all garbage. The things you have to be careful about, you really want to have a clean surface so that when you do set your screens on them, there's no leaf on them, because if you set them on it, then it's stuck to the bottom, then it'll be on the next trays. So have a clean surface. It's really good to have a table with a couple towels on it that you can lay these on when you in between the process. Now we're in the second rinse. This time I take the 120 and I will actually rinse it, because there is hash in there. It's just not of the best quality that I want. Same thing, like I say, this is the 120. This is not the best stuff.
Bring it up.
But on the second wash, we will go ahead and take
Bring
it.
Up right down in front of the camera right here. So you can
See how green it is? Oh yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it.
You're on.
As you can see, this is much greener. Not as good as stuff. Still okay, but not your premium stuff. You can see the difference in the color between the 120 and the 70 and the 45. And that's the final product. When completely dry, this will weigh between 6 and 8, 9 grams. I dry it in the refrigerator. It's the best way to handle it. The stuff is really sticky. Enjoy the best smoke you'll ever have. Then for cleanup, I put 3 bottles of the 91% isopropyl alcohol into a wiped out clean tub. Then one at a time, run the screens through, just pushing them back and forth, causing the alcohol to flow back and forth in both directions through the screen. Do a quick shake, and then let them dry, and they're ready for the next time your next harvest. Real quick and easy. You want to be sure and rinse your press screen also in the alcohol. Just dip it in and rinse it around and wiggle it around a bit. That pretty much concludes it. If you are interested in obtaining bubble boxes, you can look us up online at hydroculture.com.